Hello guys, welcome to or back to my channel here at Low Finance, where we listen to lo-fi music and talk a little bit about finance. So today we're going to be talking about compound interest. You know, it's this funny little lingo word that you hear all the time now that you're looking into your personal finances and investing and retiring and all that. So since I finally got the baby to sleep, we're going to jump right into this and try to get it done pretty quick. So what is compound interest? So it is made up of three things. You have principal, or the amount of money you're saving. You have time, or how long you're letting it sit there. And then you also have interest rate. Now, the average U.S. stock market return is 10%. So in all of our examples here, we're just going to keep using 10% as our interest rate. So quick example. If I have $1,000 as my principal, and I let it sit for 1 year at a 10% interest rate, I have $1,100 now after 1 year. So we've made $100. Now, if we let it sit there for 2 years, we'll have $1,210. So the first year we made $100, but the second year we made $110. Now, if you take that out over a longer period of time, that goes from 100 to 110 to, I don't even know, like 130, something like that. But the longer you let it sit there, the faster it grows. And that's the power of compound interest. And that's how you make your money work for you. So this little chart I have here just kind of depicts what every dollar saved is worth at that 10% annual return. So the younger you are when you start saving that money, the more time it has to compound. So a 15-year-old who saves $1 can expect that by the time they hit retirement age at 62, that $1 will now be worth 88. It'll be 88 bucks. If we start saving at 25, it drops a lot because you've lost that 10 years of compounding interest. Now that $1 we would expect to become 34. Now, if you hear some folks that are in their 30s or 40s talking about saving for retirement, they're trying to play the catch-up game. And that's why they're saving a bunch of money. They might be saving hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars per paycheck or per month because that dollar that they save now is only worth $5 if they're 45. Or if they're 35, it's worth 13. But if you had the ability to start saving when you were 20, then you could save 50 cents and it would equal their dollar, more or less. The more time you let it sit there, the more money it's worth. So don't waste your time. Just jump right into it and start saving money. Every penny counts. All right, so I have this calculator slide that I found. It's pretty useful. It shows, basically how compound interest works. You can plug in your numbers and stuff, use whatever currency, start with whatever your initial investment is, and all of that stuff. So we're here in the US, we're going to use US. We're going to assume that we have $0 to start because most of us are starting here at zero. There's not very many of us that go and inherit a bunch of money that they can just toss in. We're not that lucky. So we're starting with $0, 10% interest rate, compounded monthly, or once a year at that 10% interest rate. And since this is a 15-year-old individual, it's going to sit and compound for 47 years. Very long time. Now they're going to deposit $100 a month, and then each year they'll aim to deposit 5% more. So this January we deposit 100, maybe next January they deposit 105. They'll slowly grow it through time as they make more money. Now, yes, we're talking about a 15-year-old, but as you progress in your career through your entire adult life, you would assume that your salary would be going up a little bit. So with all of this stuff said, if you were 15 following all of these conditions, you would end up with a final value at 62 of $2.26 million. Now, that's a lot of money. More than enough to retirement, I would think. Now, this person would have only ever saved, though, $213,000. So, it's basically 10 times what they saved. And it worked that way because they had it saved for 47 years. Now, this is again at 15. If this is a person who didn't start till they were 25, you're losing 10 years. So that loss of 10 years of compound interest means, yes, you saved a little bit less money, but the biggest part is that losing that time or that ability of compound interest to take its effect means that you end up with a significantly lower final sum in your retirement fund. And this is only losing 10 years. So this is if you start saving at 25 under these conditions. Now, if you're really a late bloomer, maybe you got stuck in your party phase in your 20s and you wait till you're 35, Now you can really see the effect of compound interest. So a 35-year-old who again starts with 10% interest rate, can let it sit there for 27 years, saving $100 a month and slowly bumping it up as they get more dedicated and grow their salary a little bit. They've saved significantly less, about a fourth, about as much as our 15-year-old individual, but they've ended up with about 10 times less. So do yourself a favor, start saving early. Now, saving is great, but now the question is, what do I do with the money I'm saving? So while this is not personalized advice for you, what I would do is generally put it into 2 ETFs because it's the simplest way to do it. The first one I'm going to put it into is the SPY fund, or the S&P 500 ETF. Now this is made up of the 500 largest companies in the US. You put the money there, you basically never have to look at it again. It'll just continue to grow or go down a little bit, but over time it'll grow. Now as you can see, this chart here shows that it goes from 2015 to current day. If you had started with $10,000, it would now be worth almost $50,000. So you can't always expect returns like that, but in 10 years, this has gone 5x what it originally was. The second fund that I would put it into, generally speaking, is the QQQM fund. Now you've probably heard of the QQQ fund, and it's exactly the same thing as the QQQM fund, except this fund has a lower expense ratio. Now what an expense ratio is in brief shortness, it's how much this company will charge you to invest your money for you. The QQQM has a slightly lower expense ratio than the QQQ just because it's not as heavily traded. It's more of a long-term holding ETF. So it has a slightly lower expense ratio. In the long term, it can save you quite a bit of money. Now jumping back a little bit. There we go. Just a little bit more about how compound interest works. I love myself a energy drink or a iced coffee, not from Starbucks though, because that's just a little too expensive. I stick with my McDonald's type. I much prefer to spend $3 once in a while than to spend like $7 or $8. But if you're a 20-year-old in college and you buy even just one single Frappuccino Diabetes, it might cost you $6 at the time, but because of that compound interest time lost, you're losing out on $328. You spent $6 now, so yeah, it's only a $5 bill and a $1 bill. But had you put that money into your savings, it likely would have grown to about $330 almost. And same, if you chose energy drink over coffee, this is the easier one. It's the one I more often go to. So let's see, I'm about 30. So every time I buy an energy drink, it's really costing future me about $63. Now, it is great. You must enjoy your life once in a while, but just keep in mind, if you're one of those people that is buying an energy drink or a coffee every day, these two charts show you how much it is actually costing your future self. So if you buy a Frappuccino Diabetes every day through college, even for 4 years or whatnot, in 1 year, you're going to be losing out at 20 years old on $120,000 to your future self. This is 365 Frappuccino Diabetes, and this would be the future cost if you are 20. And if you buy an energy drink every day, these are the future costs based on those ages too. Now you could say, maybe my heart can't handle it. I'm 60 anyway, so I don't got to worry about this. But for us folk in our 20s and mid-20s and 30s, a lot of us live and breathe off these energy drinks. But just keep in mind, enjoy it once in a while. You got to enjoy life, but just don't do it every day. If not for your health, for your future finances. But with all that said, hopefully you all learned a little bit about compound interest. It's your friend. Start early. The earlier you start, the more likely it is that you'll be able to, be financially free and retire someday. So the content I provide is for educational purpose and is not a personal recommendation to you, but just knowledge and my opinions and thoughts that I want to share to help others. With that said, have a fantastic day and stay tuned if you want to learn more and make your financial future a little bit brighter. Hopefully, I can get this USB port situation figured out so that we can have slightly more entertaining videos than these little slideshows. So, have a great one.